Yonatan Shapira is a former captain in the Israeli Air Force. He's now a human rights activist and joins us now from Jerusalem. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's worth just giving a bit of background because you were a pilot of a helicopter, captain in the Israeli Air Force, and in 2003 you asked other pilots to sign a declaration refusing to participate in aerial attacks on Palestinian territories. Many of us remember that particular episode. I mean, in terms of what's going on now, what's your assessment of what Israel is doing in Gaza?
I can answer you with 2 words: a war crime. My government is now engaged in a massive war crime, killing hundreds of innocents. It's not just a war crime against the Palestinians, it's a crime against the Israeli people. And on behalf of thousands of Israelis that are demonstrating right now in the streets of Tel Aviv, in Jerusalem, and in many other places, with Palestinians, with internationals, people from all kind of background and all parts of the Israeli society are completely ashamed and against this crazy assault. We know that you cannot kill, as Jewish people, we know that you cannot kill the desire of people to be free. As a Jewish person that was raised on all these values of liberation and humanity and freedom, we cannot kill the desire of the Palestinian people to live in freedom. And on behalf of those people in Israel and in the world, I want to call the international community, the Jewish community in the world, and everyone that listens to me now, please join our force to stop this massive killing. Please, for the sake of Israel, for the sake of Palestine, and for the sake of the world, I want to cry and to shout and ask you, people are dying right now. The rockets, by the way, can kill also me and my parents when we work in the south, not far from Gaza. But it's crazy that my government, at the same time that people are being killed on our side, is continuing this crazy assault, thinking that they can kill the desire of millions of people to be free. It's insanity.
The argument your government has, Tzipi Livni, was saying that it's extremists responsible, a small number granted, but every rocket that's fired out of Gaza into Israel must be stopped, and this is an act of defense.
Yeah, and the Palestinians will say the same thing, that this is an act of defense. They are being trapped in this open-air prison for decades, and they cannot eat, they cannot have medicine, they cannot go in, they cannot go out. We lock them there in a big ghetto, and we have to put the words in a very clear context. We are locking this 1.5 million people for so long, and we treat them as animals. And this is the result. And if people on my side and on the Palestinian side and in the world want to have security and peace, you have to respect the basic human right of all the people, Israelis as well as Palestinians. We are all the same. And I'm really asking everyone that listens to me now, listen to your heart. Look at the reality. Watch the numbers. We are talking about hundreds of children that are dead now, lying on the streets of Gaza without organs, and people are crying like crazy. What happened to us?
I don't know.
What about this? What about the media that's supposed to portray the reality on the ground? Israeli forces are even not letting the journalists to get into Gaza, so they cannot even bring us the reality from the ground in Gaza Strip.
I don't know if you're in touch with
your responsibility.
Sorry, Jonathan, I don't know if you're in touch with serving officers in the IDF now, but in terms of...
I do.
In terms of refusing, are there others who share your view?
Of course, we are thousands of people. We are still a minority, of course, but we have so many people that agree with us, even within the armed forces, that are scared, but do not have enough courage to take this action and to refuse. But just to remind you that in 2003, when we created this group of Air Force pilots that refused to attack Palestinian cities, we had 1 million Israelis supporting our cause in a poll that was conducted by another person, and we are simply asking the world to help us not destroy ourselves. The Israeli government now is engaged in self-destruction policies, and if Obama, I'm very sad to say that, if Obama will go into the White House and continue to act like a slave and not like a leader, I don't see any change coming. If he continues to play golf and act like a slave, forced by AIPAC or any other interests and lobbyists in Washington, and if he continues to not to talk about the horrible crime that's happening in my country now, I don't see any change coming to the world.
I've no idea how the government reacts to what you say on its national media like this, but what do you say to those accusations that there will be, that you're a traitor, in effect, to Israel, that you're showing treachery, perhaps treason, in voicing the view that you've just voiced?
I risked my life for many years as a captain and an operation leader of operations in the Israeli Air Force. I worked with Israeli terror victims for many years. I know from a very close distance the pain of the Israeli people as well as the Palestinian people. So no one can call me or the thousands of members of the anti-occupation movement in Israel that we are traitors. On the contrary, we are patriots. We want our people to continue to exist, and we see our leaders' actions as a self-destruction policies that put in a great danger the future of all of us. And we want to simply, as I'm telling it to you, as a rescue pilot, as a former rescue pilot in the Israeli Air Force, this is the most important rescue mission I can take upon myself to save the people here, whether they are Israelis, Palestinians, Jews, Muslims, Christians, and we all know that the situation in the Middle East affect the whole world, and it could be as easy as that this kind of conflict can escalate to a world war. Don't forget the forces in the other places in the Middle East, the tension between Iran and the United States, other countries. We are in a great danger now, and if people want to help me as an Israeli and as a Jew, they have to put massive pressure on the Israeli government for ceasefire right now. Right now, we need a ceasefire. We need to be forced to sit and negotiate with the Hamas. We have no other legitimate action but sitting and negotiating now with the Hamas and with the Arab world. Don't forget that we have the Arab Initiative for many years by now. Arab initiatives say that they offer complete peace and normalization if Israel withdraw to the 1967 borders. As an Israeli, this is my interest, to have peace with the Palestinians and all the Arab world, and my government ignored this request for many years.
Right.
So this is my request.
Yonatan Shapira, thank you very much indeed for your time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.